Feels like there it is. There we go. Mike wasn't turned up there. It wasn't Javi's fault, everybody. That was my fault. We are now in week 2 of the desperate search, a national search. I would even say an international, not really an international search, but there's certainly interest spread far and wide, internationally, across the fruited plains and beyond, of 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie. Nancy Guthrie happens to be the mother of TV's Today Show co-host Savannah Guthrie, which I think there's no doubt that has brought way more attention to the case than it otherwise would have had. I am not so cynical that I believe that it has brought more law enforcement action than the case otherwise would have, but certainly attention in the media, and that has helped as well. A lot happened over the weekend. A lot happened today, so we're going to get into that a little bit, as well as read your comments that you've shared with me on social media, as well as here on the live stream. Stick with me. This video contains mature themes and discussions intended only for adult audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello there, my friend. Welcome back to another true crime conversation with me, Gavin Fish. I'm so glad that you are joining me wherever you are joining me from, and don't forget to put where you're from, where you're tuning in from in the live chat. I just love that. You know what I don't love, though? I don't love missing people. I don't like missing children. I don't like missing elderly folks. I don't like missing anyone. And we have been working so hard to try to get as much, I'm talking you and me, trying to get as much attention on this case as possible, because I believe that the more attention that is on the case, the better. Now, I live stream Monday through Friday. On Saturday and Sunday, I take the old day off. But over the weekend, law enforcement, neither law enforcement nor the Guthrie family rested. They continued their search, and they released this video over the weekend. And I want to play it for you. I just need to get to the right button here. Let's go for it right here. Here we go.
We received your message and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
That is the video. So, I mean, what has happened since then, though, is that Savannah Guthrie has released another video today. This happened a couple hours ago. She did it via her Instagram and her Facebook page. This one is about 1:42. Let's have a look-see.
Hi there, everybody. I wanted to come on and just share a few thoughts as we enter into another week of this nightmare. I just want to say, first of all, thank you so much for all of the prayers and the love that we have felt, my sister and brother and I, and that our mom has felt. Because we believe that somehow, some way, she is feeling these prayers, and that God is lifting her even in this moment and in this darkest place. We believe our mom is still out there. We need your help.
I want to just pause this for a second. I shouldn't. I shouldn't interrupt, but it's my show, so I'm gonna interrupt, right? But they believe that their mother, that Nancy, is still out there. Now, when I started asking people on my Facebook page what they thought, I think a lot of us are starting to lose a little hope, or the little hope that we had. And it seems from this anyway that there is a belief that their mother is still alive, that that they have a chance to get her back. And one thing that I need to remind myself of is I haven't seen any of the evidence. Like, there's only 3 or 4 things that we know. Everything else is being withheld from us, and I think probably a lot of it, most of it's being withheld from the Guthries too. But there will be some things like the ransom notes that are not, and having more information than us. She thinks that her mom is still out there. Let's continue.
Law enforcement is working tirelessly around the clock trying to bring her home, trying to find her. She was taken and we don't know where. And we need your help. So I'm coming on just to ask you, not just for your prayers, but no matter where you are, even if you're far from Tucson, if you see anything, if you hear anything, if there's anything at all that seems strange to you, that you report to law enforcement. We are at an hour of desperation, and we need your help.
This is a departure from what she has said before, which was what we need from you is your prayers. Now she's saying, no, we need more than that. This is our hour of desperation. If somebody knows something, say something. And this is reminding me of a conversation that I saw online where, actually, I think I shared it with you guys. I think it was on CNN or Fox News or one of the cable networks, where a retired FBI guy was like, I can't believe that they're only offering $50,000 in reward money. They gotta offer enough to make it so that the people that have her will start to turn on one another, and it doesn't seem like it's happening now. But Savannah Guthrie is specifically asking all of us, hey, if we see something, if we know something, or if we think that we know something, call it in. Call it into the Tucson Police Department. Call it into the FBI. The FBI's number is 800-CALL-FBI. It's really easy to remember. 1-800-CALL-FBI. Now, with that, let's pause for a second and check in with all my friends here. See where you are tuning in from. Let's lower this one. See where. Just refreshed on me, of course. Emmy says CNN is live in Tucson. I'm keeping my eyes open. We got San Jose in the house. Who else do we have? Holy cow, it keeps refreshing on me. Central Kentucky is here. South Lake Tahoe is here. Jacksonville, Florida. Emmy says her grandma in Bulgaria turned 90 years old. Happy birthday to Emmy's grandma in Bulgaria. Pretty awesome. Ireland is here. St. Augustine, Florida. Lisa says she loves my hair. Thank you. It's, oh my goodness, it is getting so long. Do you guys ever, those of you who have had long hair your whole life, for those who are not in the know here, I am not a long hair person. I am a person who is growing long hair for a very specific purpose. But those of you that have had long hair your whole life, when you brush your hair and hair comes out in your brush, does that just crush your soul? You're just like, dang it, I'm growing that. Greetings from the Plague Island. Oh, that doesn't sound like a happy place. Hopkinton, Mass is here. Ringwood, Oklahoma. Texas, Lexington. West Virginia. Bend, Oregon. I have some friends out there in Bend. They manufacture high-end audio cables. Wisconsin, Gilbert, Arizona. Baltimore, Maryland. Doylestown, PA. Gambier, South Australia, Phoenix, Arizona, Texas in the house, Erie, PA, and the Republic of Ireland, Northern Nevada, Lehigh Valley, awesome, Northern Ireland, watching from Australia. Thank you all for checking in. Okay, There are a couple of items of news, and by the way, if anything happens in the news that you might be watching live on your devices that you want me to know, be sure to put GF in your comments so that I can see that, okay? The first thing that I want to bring you over to is my Facebook page. When I posted today what we would be talking about, there are a couple comments that stood out to me. Paige Walker says, I've been following this case very closely, even to the point if I get up in the night, I have to check the case to see if any updates before I can go back to sleep. I think a lot of us are feeling that way, Paige. Let me zoom up so you guys can see this. You know, I'm just an armchair detective, but if you abducted an elderly woman with what sounds like some serious health conditions, then why wouldn't you leave a ransom note there at her house or contact them right away? It just feels off. I pray she is okay, and I'm wrong, but I don't have a good feeling about this situation. The authorities know a lot more than they are telling, and that is exactly how it should be. Just like Koberger, the police said we have no suspects, but had his DNA and followed him across the country and arrested him in Pennsylvania. Everyone is saying the police had never seen anything like this in this little town and have botched the case. Well, that wasn't the case. I'm curious to the outcome and to see what has truly happened. Prayers for protection for Nancy and strength for the Guthrie family. That's a terrific comment. Winona says, I feel that she was deceased when she left her home on Sunday morning. I found it very odd that she had Ubered 4 miles to her daughter's home. Why would they not pick her up? The photos being taken in the dark at Annie's home could have been from luminol being sprayed. At this point, I think they're trying to get her body back. Yes, I do believe someone that knew her well orchestrated the entire situation. Any outcome is going to be tragic at this point. And then a lot of people echo those sentiments, saying, "Don't think that they're alive anymore." Pat Longbert is our former admin of the Fish Tank and a frequent correspondent. I think it was someone in the family, she says, someone very familiar with her and her home. They took their time when they were there. Yeah, it was over 45 minutes. They knew where everything was, where all the cameras were, that she had a doorbell cam, and no one in the surrounding area saw any unusual vehicles on the street that night. They said when she was dropped off, the garage door open and closed. She wasn't driving. I believe that the family member had her go through the garage to get in the house and then made sure the door was unlocked when they left. Okay. If I'm right, there's no way she would still be alive. Anyway, lots of comments like that. I'm holding on to hope myself. And why don't you come over here and join me on Acrobat for a couple of articles that I want to share with you. This one, it says February 7th, but it was updated a couple hours ago. Latest from authorities as they search for Savannah Guthrie's mother. This is NBC News. This is the very network that Savannah Guthrie works at. I'm going to yada yada. Here's what we know. And the reason I want to show you this is we just don't know much, right? There's the timeline, 5:32 p.m. She left in her home in an Uber to go to family member's house for dinner and playing games. At 9:48 p.m., she was dropped off where she lives alone. The garage door opened at that time, closed 2 minutes later. 1:47 a.m., the doorbell camera. We went over this, but the doorbell cam, the pacemaker disconnects, and she didn't go to church, and family goes to check in on her. She's not there. And then what they put here is what the investigation has uncovered so far. It's very little that has come out. The blood on the porch, her cell phone was left at home. No suspect or person of interest has been identified. We did see that her car was being towed from her residence over the weekend. We know that she has heart health issues. We really just don't know much at all. We understand that the deadline for the ransom is in 45 short minutes, if my math is correct. I might be wrong on this. It's like 5 p.m. Mountain Time today is that second Monday deadline. Couple things from CNN. Ransom letter demands $6 million, we learned over the weekend. New details have emerged about the ransom demands for Nancy Guthrie's safe return, with CNN affiliate K-Gun reporting that the purported kidnapper or kidnappers have demanded $6 million and threatened Guthrie's life if a 5 p.m. Monday deadline isn't met, citing a ransom note sent to the station. So purported ransom notes sent to Kagan and other media outlets demanded millions in Bitcoin in exchange for her return, CNN previously reported. And then, of course, they said that they would pay. So $6 million is what we understand is the ransom. This does bring up questions of, should we be paying ransoms? And does this just encourage other behavior like this? To my memory, to my knowledge, the idea of kidnapping for ransom is an old practice here in the United States. I know it's not so old in other countries, but here in the United States, it just doesn't happen very often. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to bring was from CNN. It says what experts believe the latest video means for the apparent ransom demands. The fourth video posted to social media by the Guthrie family is a direct appeal to the public and could indicate a shift in the investigation as a second purported ransom deadline approaches, experts tell CNN. Today, host Savannah Guthrie posted a video Monday, today, saying the family believes Nancy Guthrie is still out there. Guthrie's possible abductors are demanding $6 million by 5 p.m. today, CNN affiliate Kagan previously reported, citing a purported ransom note sent to the station. The note included a threat to Guthrie's life if the deadline is not met, according to Kagan. Rallying the eyes and ears of people across the country is one objective of the video, according to CNN's chief law enforcement and intelligence analyst John Miller, regardless if the ransom demands are real or not. What she's really saying is, we need everybody in the game here, Miller told CNN. We don't want everybody to stop looking. And that actually is a danger here, right? This sounds so self-serving, but last week when we were talking about Nancy Guthrie, we were getting 2,000 people watching the show. Right now we have 824, according to my little stream deck here, right? So we are in danger of losing interest nationally. And that video from Savannah Guthrie saying, we need more than your prayers here. We need your eyeballs. And I think this analyst is spot on. Meanwhile, the Guthrie family has likely not received a response to previous videos directly addressing possible captors amid purported ransom demands, according to CNN senior law enforcement analyst Andrew McCabe. This message does not sound like the message that you would expect to hear from a family that is currently negotiating the return of their loved one, McCabe told CNN. Also a possibility, investigators may now believe the ransom demands are not legitimate, according to Frank Filiuzzi, former assistant director of the FBI Counterintelligence Division. So we're still wondering, hey, are these real or not? Are these demands real? This one from KOLD. Savannah Guthrie posts new message calling search for her mother an hour of desperation. Man, certainly. We watched the video. I just want to, let's see. Oh yeah, there are a couple items in here that I think are important beyond just the video that we watched. Okay, so let me just read this. Savannah Guthrie posted another message to social media today, February 9th, as the search for her mother, Nancy Guthrie, continues into its second week. Thank you so much for all the prayers, Savannah said in the video. She also said, we believe our mother is still out there. We need your help. And added, we are at an hour of desperation. The Pima County Sheriff's Department says it will continue to maintain a presence at the home of Nancy Guthrie for security reasons. PCSD says this is at the request of the Guthrie family. I know that there's been some criticism of leaving the scene, releasing the scene, going back to the scene, securing the scene, leaving the scene, going back to the scene, and so forth. Now it appears that they're out there just for security. So that from KOLD. I have a couple more. Let me check in to see what your comments are before we really move on here. Remember to put GF in your comments if you want me to see them. Brooke is with us from Baltimore, Maryland. My grandpa used to say anytime there was a... Oh, Gavin, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Yep. Yep. This is definitely a tangent. My grandpa used to say when he had a car that he thought was particularly trustworthy, it was a good runner, he'd say, that car can make it all the way to Baltimore, Maryland. I don't know why he said, I don't know why he chose Baltimore, Maryland. Ohio Palm Mom, what she doesn't say is that she believes she's still alive. Well, yeah, she doesn't say that. She just says that she's out there. That's true. Savannah Guthrie is and her brother and sister all seem to be high achieving, intelligent folks. I'm sure they understand that the longer this goes, the worse it gets for them statistically. But it seems like she's keeping her hopes up. Mama Sleuth just thinks she wandered away after getting hurt on her porch. Central PA in the house. Thank you. Let's see. Gavin, most recent siblings video has a different tone. Sounds like they want, and then it cut off. To me, it sounds like they want help. Doodlebug says, why is no one connecting the dots with the first ransom note after the sheriff leaked the cameras weren't working and there's no video? Oh, so is your belief that this is all just a hoax? Is that possible? Is it? What is it? Connie's and Vic says, remember, we all gave up on Elizabeth Smart. We never give up until we know. Prayers for the Guthries. Yeah, the Elizabeth Smart case is a very good example. Very good example. How long was she gone? Like 9 months, something like that. I don't remember the detail specific, but yeah, you're right. You're right. We all need to keep our hopes up. Karen, over a week without vital heart meds, not a good sign. I'm hoping that they got meds. Jude the Tiger, spelled with a Y, very old timey, very cool, harkening back to the old days. Gavin, I don't believe any of the ransom notes are valid. If they were, they would have been accompanied by specific instructions on the return exchange. I guess I'm just not an expert on ransom notes. I think the instruction they gave them was on the deposit, right? And we understand that the second note had something about the first note had something about bringing her back to Tucson. So I don't know that we know if there weren't any specific instructions. We haven't seen the note. We've just seen characterizations of the note. Just my 2 cents. Thanks for the comment. Lynn Taylor, does the pacemaker disconnecting mean it stopped working or just not able to monitor any longer? What keeps a pacemaker working? I'm not medically smart, nor am I. However, from what I understand, it was a Bluetooth disconnection, probably due to distance. It probably wasn't it disconnected because her heart stopped beating. If the heart stopped beating or there was some sort of arrhythmia, the pacemaker would do its job, right? It would shock the heart. So I think that from everything that I can tell, it is that her person was taken far away from her phone and her watch. Chasing Sunshine says, today's post from Savannah is heartbreaking, but more hopeful Nancy is alive. Let's see, they could use some good press, and if they can grab Venezuela's president, then they can find Nancy. Okay. All right, cool. Lucifer, have any analysts commented on the blood pattern on the front step or what kind of injury might cause it? Not that I have seen yet. Not that I've seen yet. Portugal in the house. My wife and I visited your lovely country last, was it June? I can't remember now. Last year, we went to Porto. Gavin, dang it. You know what? I got to get better at this. Anyway, spent a little time, spent about a week in Portugal. It was awesome. South Africa's in the house. No kidnapping. In my opinion, no kidnapping, but who knows? Greetings from La Argentina. Viva la patria, la gran Argentina. Thank you very much for being here. Carrots and Other Veg says, I think the reason they were originally in the house for 40 minutes was because they were asking about all of the home security. Yeah, could be. Could be. If they didn't take her meds, it doesn't seem as if they intended to return her. Yeah. Emmy says, I doubt they will drive back to Arizona because every major artery leading into Arizona will be on alert. This is only if they honor their word. They will leave her at a remote location. Interesting. Doodlebug again. Gavin, either a horde hoax or the culprits didn't leave a note at the house and decided after they heard the cameras weren't working, or maybe motive changed after hearing that. Too many possibilities. There are a lot of possibilities. Mama Sleuth, medical devices send to who you set it to send. If you are away from a connection, it doesn't send anything. Thank you. Hey, Mariana's from Porto. Awesome. We enjoyed your lovely city. We walked about everywhere. We visited the beach. We walked the bridges, the hills and valleys, listened to the music, ate a lot of pizza, went to Livreria Lelo. We had a good time. Max Asina says, I heard she has not been to church since COVID. She watches it on the live stream. I don't know. Okay, either way, the church alerted the family that that she wasn't attending either in person or remotely. Daily Mail reported the church story isn't part. Okay. Aren't they investigating the daughter? We've heard all sorts of things. Tina Lucille, maybe a home health aide. If she was taken by someone in the medical field, they know how to treat her and have what she needs. Maybe. Love from Oregon. Thank you very much. And Emmy says the pacemaker will still send electronic impulses even if the host body is passed. That's what I thought. Thank you, Emmy. Gavin, I think many are missing the social engineering part of this. I could talk to someone for 5 minutes and find out if they have a dog live alone or pay their next bill if you look trustworthy. Yeah. And Chasing Sunshine, before we move on to the other ones. If insider or family, wouldn't they know cameras not recording, so no need to smash? Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, thank you to those who are joining us kind of late. I'm glad that you are. And if you want to go all the way back to the beginning, put it at double time to catch up with us. That would be great too. Let me bring you back over, if I may, to Acrobat. I've got a couple of, I've got one that I really want to read. This one is from TMZ. It says Nancy Guthrie alleged ransom account remains empty as deadline approaches. Remember that it's a Bitcoin account that they gave to 3 media outlets, which includes TMZ, and they were able to verify that the account was real. This was just reported a couple hours ago. A Bitcoin account allegedly set up to accept funds in exchange for Savannah Guthrie's missing mother, Nancy, is still sitting empty Monday morning, with time quickly winding down on an alleged deadline, which is about 31 minutes from now. Over the weekend, Savannah and her family responded to a ransom message saying they will pay the $6 million demand to have their mother returned to them. The alleged note requested payment by last Thursday, but it also listed a second deadline of today at 5 p.m. local Tucson time, which is Mountain Time, to my understanding. It's unclear how long it typically takes for accounts to update, but as of now, the confirmed balance in the publicly viewable account stands at 0 with no transactions recorded. On Sunday, the Pima County Sheriff's Department said the investigation is ongoing, said they still have no suspects or person of interest in the case. Also on Sunday, investigators were seen searching a septic tank behind Nancy's Tucson home. And I have heard commentary on that has stated, well, maybe, they're probably following multiple parallel investigative lines, right? As you know, Nancy was reported MIA February 1 after failing to show up to church. Her daughter Annie and her husband, Tommaso Cioni, were the last ones to see her just the night before. So that's what TMZ has said. And then the last article that I wanted to bring to you guys is just illustrative of the fact that we know very little publicly. Okay, the headline is Nancy Guthrie case key evidence released so far from Safia Sami Ali. Okay, so here are the things that we know so far. Surveillance camera was removed from Nancy Guthrie's home. A Ring camera mounted at the front of the home appears to have been removed. A detail investigators are now examining. The camera recorded a person on the camera alert at 2:12 a.m. on Sunday. However, they were not able to get that video. Item number 2, Nancy's pacemaker stopped syncing. Authorities said Guthrie's pacemaker stopped syncing with her Apple devices at 2:28 on Sunday. Guthrie is considered a vulnerable adult, officials said, noting that she has difficulty walking, has a pacemaker, and requires daily medication for a heart condition. The third item is there was blood found on the porch, and it belongs to Nancy Guthrie. Fourth is ransom letters were sent to news outlets, and that is all. That's all that we really know in this case. And so, guys, we're just going to have to, listen, I don't want to be passive about this. I want us to be proactive. We want to live life purposefully. We don't want to just passively watch as news passes us by, right? So if you see something, let's watch that video one more time from Savannah Guthrie and listen closely to it, and let's do as she asks. Here we go.
Hi there, everybody. I wanted to come on and just share a few thoughts as we enter into another week of this nightmare. I just want to say, first of all, thank you so much for all of the prayers and the love that we have felt, my sister and brother and I, and that our mom has felt.
I think because she's saying our mom has felt. I think that is an indication that she believes her mother is alive.
That somehow, some way, she is feeling these prayers, and that God is lifting her even in this moment and in this darkest place.
And as a person of faith, if she thought that her mom was gone, she wouldn't say that God is lifting her up in her darkest day. She would say something like, in his warm embrace, or something like that.
We believe our mom is still out there. We need your help. Law enforcement is working tirelessly around the clock, trying to bring her home, trying to find her. She was taken and we don't know where. And we need your help. So I'm coming on just to ask you, not just for your prayers, but no matter where you are, even if you're far from Tucson, if you see anything, if you hear anything, if there's anything at all that seems strange to you, that you report to law enforcement. We are at an hour of desperation.
Yeah.
And we need your help.
And again, that indicates that desperation indicates that they think maybe time is running out. At least that's how I read it. Okay. And let's see. I just want to check while we're live. Let me see if there's anything, any live update. Let me mute this tab just in case. Let's see. CNN a minute ago says oftentimes it is the public that makes the lead, says former FBI agent. Brianna Fox, a former FBI agent and professor of criminology at the University of South Florida, lauded Savannah Guthrie's decision to ask for help from the public after the shocking disappearance of her mother over a week ago. Oftentimes, it is the public that makes the lead, that leads to the end of the case, she told CNN's Jake Tapper Monday. She pointed to the Brown University shooting in which a tipster who spotted the suspect and his vehicle helped crack the case open for investigators. The arrest of suspects in the shootings of conservative media personality Charlie Kirk and United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson also relied on the broad dissemination of information to the public and tips, Fox said. I really think that is what's going to break the case open. So let's take that to heart and call law enforcement if we think we see something, if we think we know something. 1-800-CALL-FBI. And then it's easy to look up the Tucson Police Department's phone number. I'm not going to give it to you now. I could look it up and give it to you now, but I don't want to just put that number out there. I want you to look it up so that we're not inundating them with bad tips. I want you to think, if I have a tip, okay, I'm going to go and call. Okay. Let's see if there's anything else from NBC News real quick before we go on to anything else. Let's see. Yeah, 2 hours ago, they just said the FBI said its agents, analysts, and professional staff working around the clock. The FBI said it has agents, analysts, and professional staff working around the clock in the search for Nancy Guthrie. Nothing since then. So let's just not only offer our sentiment, our prayers, our well wishes. Let's also keep our eyes peeled. See if we see something wherever we are. Okay. With that, guys, let's move into a little 3 questions, shall we?
It's 3 questions with Gavin Fish.
Pow, guys, in this segment, I will answer your questions that you send to me at 3questions@gavinfish.com. Now, look, with these questions that we're going to do today, I have nothing left in the tank. There are no more questions left in my inbox. These are the final 3, which means if you're curious about anything, it could be case related, it could be Gavin related, it could be life related, could be philosophy related. I mean, I did go to a symposium on Aristotelian ethics, so I'm practically an expert. I went to that symposium like a year ago. I've got it. No, but anything is on the table. Nothing is off the table. You can ask me anything you want, and I will answer it here. And if you ask the kind of questions I love the kinds of questions where it's not just about me, it's about everybody, and everybody can play along. I like to hear your answers. So here we go. Question number 1 is, have you looked into brewed cacao as a beverage to help your afternoon yawns? No caffeine. Well, dang it. Now that... Hold on. I was doing so well until I read that. I was doing so well. Okay, no caffeine, but the company I buy from says it's high in theobromine, which helps with energy without a crash. I have not looked into brewed anything. No, I have stayed away from everything but water. And I've been drinking nothing but water. Hold on. No, I've had what are they called? What is it called? I've had protein. I almost had to push the brain fart button. I've had protein drinks that are made with milk. But that hasn't been for anything other than like I'm gonna go work out or something like that. So I've been staying away from brewed drinks. No, I don't drink coffee. I don't drink tea. I don't drink herbal tea. I used to be just a real Pepsi, a consumer of Pepsi products. I wouldn't surprise me if their stock has gone down since I stopped drinking soda and fizzy drinks. Um, I do have the ability to make fizzy drinks here at the house, but I've just stayed away from anything carbonated because I feel like it's kind of a slippery slope, and I just don't want to. I just don't want anything flavored. I guess I feel like I don't know. It just feels like it might be a slippery slope, so I haven't done it. But thank you for the tip. Let's bring this back up here. Uh, push the right button. Question number 2. How do you feel or deal with shows like The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives? I feel nothing. I don't deal with them. I don't I yeah. They're not part of my life, so I guess I don't care. I remember this is not a tangent because this is related to what you're asking. I remember back in the day, it was like the original whatever, like Beverly Hills Housewives show was on. I don't know if that's the original one or like Miami was. I don't know. But it specifically had to do with Beverly Hills Housewives, whatever that show was called. And I had to be down in LA to meet with the people of a celebrity to talk about an endorsement that my company was negotiating with that celebrity. And the people who had connected us with that celebrity, I wanted to take them out to dinner, and so they suggested this place in Beverly Hills. So I went down. I went down with a couple of my coworkers, a couple of my colleagues, and we met at this restaurant in Beverly Hills that was packed to the gills, man. And I didn't think it was bad, but I didn't think it was all that, right? Especially considering what the bill was, crying out loud. But when the server came over to our table, she was like, "So, are you here because you've seen us on whatever the Housewives of Beverly Hills was?" Uh, no, I'm just grabbing something to eat and I'm going to have a meeting in the morning. It was so obnoxious. It was so obnoxious to me that it just put me off of all the, I mean, I'm not the key demographic of those shows anyway. But yeah, so how do I feel about The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives? I feel nothing. How do I deal with it? I don't. That's just me. Question number 3. Do you limit your screen time and your children's? I do not limit my screen time because I make my living and always have on screen. I require screens. I am a bit of a workaholic. From the time that I'm up to the time that I go to bed, I typically, of course, there are breaks in between. There's family time and dinner time and stuff, but I'm typically at working in front of a screen. Our kids, on the other hand, we definitely limit that. We don't like our kids to just be slaves to the old screen. I'd love to hear what you guys think about that. I'm not like I guess I am a bit of a screen addict because we have a couch in our in our bedroom that we have had for so long, our glorious purple couch, and I do like to lay down there and doom scroll TikTok and stuff like that. So yeah, I probably should limit my screen time. We do limit the screen time of our children, and those are 3 questions. Now, I would like to hear your thoughts about, Secret Lives and Housewives and all that stuff, and your screen time. I'm curious about that. And while you're typing that up, why don't we go ahead and get into some headlines?
True crime headlines.
Pow. Okay, a couple headlines that I want to bring to you today. Just two. Headline number one comes to us from FloridaToday.com. Anna Kepner's mom says stepbrother to face first-degree murder charge. This is written by Michelle Spitzer, and this came out on Saturday. The stepbrother of Anna Kepner, the Florida teen found dead on a cruise ship, is being charged with first-degree murder, according to Kepner's mom. Remember, this is not according. We don't. So far, this case is sealed. But anyway, Kepner, an 18-year-old cheerleader from Titusville, Florida, was found dead under a bed November 7th by a person cleaning the cabin she shared with her stepbrother and another sibling aboard the Carnival Horizon. Her death was ruled a homicide, and she reportedly died by strangulation. FBI officials confirmed they are investigating the case. However, they have not released any information about potential suspects. The FBI did not return a call seeking comment. Court documents related to a custody case involving the stepbrother's parents had earlier revealed the 16-year-old was being mentioned as a suspect, and the 16-year-old stepbrother reportedly appeared before a federal magistrate in a locked Miami courtroom on Friday. Quote, they are going to charge her 16-year-old stepbrother with first-degree murder, and there are going to be some other charges brought, but I'm not sure what they are yet until they tell me I don't know more, Kepner's biological mom, Heather Wright, posted on her TikTok account. The roughly 30-second video does not mention where she is getting her information. I wonder if that links over to TikTok. Let's see it.
Hey y'all, Just Mom here. I got some news today on my daughter's case. They are going to charge Timothy, her 16-year-old stepbrother, for first-degree murder. And there's going to be some other charges brought, but I'm not sure what they are yet until they tell me. I don't know. So as of right, that is one of the charges. And as soon as I know more, I will let you guys know. Thanks.
Okay. Okie dokie. So that's how we learned about that. Second came to us also on Saturday. Is Luigi Mangione facing double jeopardy? Here's what experts say. Double jeopardy is a legal, what do we want to call it? Concept. In the United States, you can't be put on trial for the same crime after you have been acquitted of that crime, basically, is kind of how that goes. Luigi Mangione made rare public comments on Friday at New York State Supreme Court after a judge declared that his state murder trial will start in June, just months before his federal trial is set to begin. Mangione has been charged with stalking and murdering United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson and faces multiple firearm charges. He has pleaded not guilty on all counts. As he was being led, cuffed, and shackled out of the courtroom, Mangione turned to the gallery and spoke. It's the same trial twice, he said firmly, surprising the audience since he has barely ever spoken in court before. 1 + 1 is 2, double jeopardy by any common sense definition. Mangione's remarks came after a tense pretrial hearing in Manhattan where Justice Gregory Caro set a June 8th date for a state trial. Last month, Judge Margaret Garnett, who's presiding over the federal case, announced that the federal trial would begin in September of this year. If the federal date changes, Caro said he would push the state trial to September. Mangione faces murder and firearms charges in New York State and stalking charges in federal court. He also faces firearms and forgery charges in Pennsylvania. Mangione's defense team vehemently objected to the summer state trial date. Mr. Mangione is being put in an untenable situation because this is a tug of war between two different prosecution offices, his lead defense attorney, Karen Friedman Agnifilo, told the judge on Friday. She said Assistant District Attorney Joel Seidemann wants this case to go forward because he does not want the potential of his case being double jeopardied out because he did all the work on this case. Seidemann responded that if Mangione's defense were to argue double jeopardy, they'd be seeking to deprive the prosecuting agency on a local crime, a murder that happened in Midtown on our streets, of a guest to our city. He added that Brian Thompson's family has asked federal prosecutors to let the state go first. After court, he told the press double jeopardy is meant to protect people and they're using it as a weapon here. It's unfair. So what exactly is double jeopardy and does it apply to Mangione's cases? Put simply, The double jeopardy clause of the Fifth Amendment is meant to protect a person from being prosecuted twice for the same offense. This was in Rolling Stone, by the way. According to lawyers who spoke with Rolling Stone, double jeopardy can't officially come into play until someone has been convicted or acquitted of a crime. Meaning if Mangione was found guilty in one trial, his team could argue double jeopardy to try and get the second indictment dismissed ahead of a second trial. Right now, Mangione has not been convicted in any of his 3 cases. So, let me just do these next 2. And the double jeopardy protections come with nuances. For example, the separate sovereigns doctrine allows a federal and state court to prosecute the same defendant for the same act if the act breaks both federal and state laws. This doctrine was used during the Civil Rights era. If a white defendant was found not guilty of murdering a black victim in state court in the South, for example, he could still be tried for a civil rights violation in federal court. Plus, if the crimes are considered substantially different and are distinguishable from one another, even if they come from the same act, they can still both be prosecuted. In this case, Mangione's state charges are murder and firearms offenses, and his federal charges involve interstate stalking, which led to conduct that caused the death of Thompson. So I guess that they will argue that the they'll have to argue it if he gets convicted, I guess. And those are your headlines.
True crime headlines.
Okie dokie. Let's go to your comments. Out of the woods, can we put 3 questions here? You can put them here, but I'm not going to answer them here. There are rules, okay? Very specific rules. Send them to 3questions@gavinfish.com. Let me tell you why I'm doing that. It's because I will miss everything here. I miss so much already. So if you send them to 3questions@gavinfish.com, I will answer them. Let's see. Elizabeth J is saying the Pima County Sheriff just put out a statement. Let's check that real quick. Let's see. I don't see. Let me see any updates on CNN here real quick. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything on my side, but send me a link. Let's see. CatFab says, I look great. Thank you very much. Oscar the Grouchy Fish. I sometimes do get grouchy. It's true. Carrots and other veg. Please let Gavin know about the new statement by putting GF at the start of your post. Oh yeah, okay. Emmy loves the show and watches it on Hulu. Okay. Let's see. Cade Churietta. Gavin, haven't been on in a while. Have you lost weight? You're looking good. I have. Thank you very much. Yeah, I am working hard. Emmy says, love reality TV like Bachelor Nation. See, I just can't stand the stuff, but to each their own, right? Jenny says, my answer to question number 2, I really dislike reality TV, just not my thing. So those shows aren't anything I watch. Brian Anton has a short of the sheriff's statement. Okay, awesome guys. Thank you very much. Let me go over to YouTube, go to Brian's channel, go to his shorts. Okie dokie, let me unmute here and just see.
Hey guys, all right, so there's a new statement from the Pima County Sheriff's Office. I'm going to read it to you. It says, we do not have any additional information to release publicly this afternoon. The investigation into Nancy Guthrie's disappearance remains active and ongoing. We understand the significant public interest in this case. However, investigators need time and space to do their work. If and when relevant information becomes available, it will be shared. They say there's going to be no press briefing scheduled right now unless something happens. And then they say many of you observed an active law enforcement presence at the Guthrie residence over the weekend. Yes, we did. That activity will continue tonight and into tomorrow as part of the ongoing investigative process, including the expansion of the search and follow-up on new leads. So that's interesting there.
Oh.
I don't know if we're going to see them coming back out here. This is all part of the investigative process as the search for Nancy expands and new leads come in. To preserve the integrity of this criminal investigation, details of that process are not being released at this time. It's interesting that they say new leads are coming in.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the latest. I'm still outside Nancy's house. I'm just in the car, but I'll keep you guys posted.
Brian's got a good shtick, man. He's on the road. Cool guy. I like him. I like him a lot. Let's bring up Nancy's photo while we're talking here. Anything else? Jenny says, I do not limit screen time unless it's affecting schoolwork. Kids are so busy between school and extracurriculars that they don't have much extra time on screen anyway. Very good. Yep, I saw. Very good. Brian Enton, now he is live. Okay, good. I got it, guys. Awesome. So we're gonna call that good for tonight. Thank you very much for joining me. We'll be back tomorrow night. Hey, and by the way, did you guys know that I am also on Spotify and wherever you get your podcasts? So if you don't have to be watching just on YouTube, you could, or on Facebook or whatever, you can do so on Spotify. You can join me on all the socials. I post pretty frequently on Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok. So follow me on all the socials. Just search Gavin Fish. You will find me. You're always invited to join us on our Facebook group, which is called the Fish Tank. The easiest way to find that is to go to my old website, gavinfish.com. I did update my website today with a new photo. Since I'm a long-haired hippie these days, if you click on this little fishy icon up in the corner, that will take you over to the Fish Tank where we hang out on Facebook, and you're always invited to join us there. With that, I shall bid you adieu. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. We'll see you on the next one. Take care. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below.